Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at a ShadowCraft deck for rotation. And this deck is definitely not perfect. It's a little bit experimental at the moment. I've been messing around with some of the numbers in this, just kind of playing with it. I'm not really a big fan of Fairy Spirit Maiden, unfortunately, in this variation in particular, although there are variations that could work with that quite well. We are running one Colossal Skull Lord. I would recommend at least running two in this deck, maybe even three, especially if you want to run more Techno Lord, although he's not a necessity, but he is very solid at getting extra Colossal. Mainly, ideally, you want to be able to use Amethyst Rebels, Roly Poly Mark 1, and then the Fleeting Joy effect to pull multiple, well, mainly just one Colossal Skull at a time, firstly, but the other, of course, machine cards that you can use to take full advantage of. So, an interesting concept. I wanted to test it out. That's what we're going to get into and check it out. Okay, so our first matchup is actually going to be against Shadow as well. I didn't expect to see another Shadow player on the ladder right now in rotation. But overall, this was a little bit of experimentation. I wanted to see how this could perform and how well it could do with just what I had. Shadow is actually probably my second most neglected class as far as legendary cards go. Forest being my most neglected, probably followed by then, yeah, Shadow, and then moving down a bit. This match, of course, wasn't the best one, unfortunately, I realise now. Must have been the next. So our true first match is actually against Havencraft, so sorry about the previous match. That was obviously just one that I had got the concede on initially. For some reason I thought it was this match that had the concede in it, and I got them mixed up because they were one after the other, so very easy to confuse. But now we are seriously into it, so we're picking out some early drops. I liked Bone Drone, really solid turn 4 play. Big Soul Hunter's an okay turn 3 because it is a 2-3, even if you're not using its effect. I found that it was actually pretty reasonable to use it as just a 2-3. Of course, a 2-drop definitely helps us out. Deadly Dreamer, sorry. A really nice play as well, especially going up against Haven here. So this deck doesn't have any one defined win condition. It's kind of one of those decks that just requires you to flood the board and work with what you've got at the time. That's typically what you'll be doing 9 out of 10 times each time you go with it. I also like to use Friend's Attendant the most in this deck, as it does seem to be the most advantageous card to use, since we are mostly board centric with this one. So now a nice chance with the Bone Drone. Bone Drone does a pretty good job of picking up, of course, the kills when it needs it. Plus, most people don't like killing Bone Drone immediately. Haven, although having Blackened Scripture is usually the best way to counter Bone Drone, so that wouldn't surprise me if that's what they went with, but Saintly Core Banishment works as well, luckily. 1 out of 3 chance, and they hit it. It would have been better if, of course, they didn't hit that one, but sometimes you can't win. So I'm still going wide with these Friends Attendants, keeping them up. They left up our other Friends Attendants, so why not throw the second one to the board? Make it even harder for them to pick and choose. Realm of Repose, not really an issue with this deck. We are running mostly low-cost stuff. I do want to flood the board now, though, with Grimoire on 7. I definitely want to be able to go for it. I also went with the Preemptive Evo because I've got the extra Evo points, and I wanted to get the damage in and make it, of course, harder to remove everything. Zealot of Repose, okay, that's not a good card to go up against. Grimoire is still going to be probably the optimal play here, since it does give me the Evo. I can also Evo the Grimoire if I wanted to. That would have been okay, but I did decide to end up not doing that and hold on to my Evo instead, as I might be able to take better advantage of it with something else. Another Realm of Repose, again, not an issue. They're on 3 health. There's really no comeback from that position, so worked in our favour a little bit there. But as you can tell, really board flooding. So being a big board-heavy deck as far as that goes, you really don't want to run into any massive clears. There's only a couple that you can really worry about at the moment, and most of the time you can kind of just replenish the next turn, so it's really not a big issue. So this hand is okay actually. Fran Monster Girls are average cards. I do like to dump them when I get them in my opener, but it wasn't necessarily bad. I could have kept one, used it with the Cerberus, with the 0 attendant, and got some extra value. Really, that would have been the better way to go than trading out both, I think, but too bad, we did it anyway. I did go for Lady Grey on 2, since we are going first. We have a bit of an edge. I do need a way to get rid of this though, Solomon now. I am going to be testing some different Solomon rune decks soon with Prince Cocytus and Rayo decks. There's a couple of variations I want to test out. Looks really interesting. Also, we have an unlimited dragon deck, which should be pretty cool. OTK dragon that I want to be able to get going. Although I don't know if I have Phoenix Roost available, so we'll have to wait and see about that one. So now we get our chance with Fran's Monster Girl. Unfortunately, I couldn't go for Attendant here. Fran's Curse had to be the option. Needed to get rid of the 3/3. It's a painful card to deal with. On the bright side, with an Evo potentially, we could do alright. But of course they have a second Eleanor. It's probably why they played the first one pre-Evo. Not actually a shock, it's just kind of irritating to deal with. So we got the Cerberus now. It is going to cost us a full-on trade though with this Cerb. Feels a little bit bad, but I mean sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to clear out the board. Fortunately for us, we're playing a little bit more of an aggressive style, so Rune doesn't tend to tolerate that very well. Once we board flood a couple of times, they really won't have fun dealing with it.
Why are you letting me live?
And this time I decided to go for the wide options and keep my friend's Attendant ready for the Cerberus play. Since they've wasted a fair bit of removal already, I didn't think it would be too much of an issue. We also ended up getting the Ania, which is great. Hopefully she'll come in very handy if I get to use her. Cerberus though, giving us at least 4 pings on this current board. And they finally activate their Seal of Solomon, and it is a Rayo rune. So this is the variation I do want to be able to test. It looks like it should be a lot of fun. I do probably need another Rayo though, so I do need to get some decent packs and points first, so I can, of course, make more legendaries that I don't have all of. Unfortunately, any expansion pre-Steel Rebellion, I don't have at least 2 legendaries of everything, so it's a little disappointing. So Ania and Lady Grey, that should at least protect our board reasonably. And given how this is going so far, we're pretty safe. Next turn we can even go for Fleeting Joy if we need it, which will potentially give us a really good board clear. But things are looking very promising so far. Robo Zombie, a good way to get rid of this Chimera. And a Fran's Attendant just for some extra board stock right now. And only 3 health left for the Rune player. It's not going to be easy to get past this roly-poly. They really just need a straight-up destruction card if they want to have a chance. And obviously deciding it's not enough to get past this. Not a shocker, I mean, that was a pretty hardcore board to deal with. So overall, this deck was a fun experiment. I think with some fine-tuning, Shadow could really be put in a good position. I think removing and replacing a few things in rotation could definitely make a better deck. Maybe focusing a bit more on taking advantage of Colossal Skull Lord to really get him going. But outside of that, a lot of fun, a lot of interesting things you can do with the deck, and really just keep flooding is always my recommendation for this one. So if you guys did enjoy this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more content. You'll find the deck list in the description below. Until next time, guys. See ya.